Ugh. So, for Halloween spooky season, I have finished an update, my last update, to the Ecto 1 roof rack, and in the next about 5 or so minutes, I'm going to show you how I went from the old one to the new one.
So first things first, what are we keeping? Well, we're keeping all the 3D printed parts. So the radome, the sniffer box, the heatsink, the O2 tanks, and the storage tank. The O2 tanks and the storage tanks are looking a little grimy, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them off, sand them down, give them a nice fresh coat of paint, and they're going to look brand new. What we're adding in is the fan box, so sorry Ian, your Pizza Planet truck coolant pump will no longer be on here. And then we're going to replace this, which I think is a popcorn machine, I'm not too sure, but it's going to be replaced with a handmade TI cross section that I made myself, and if you need one, it'll be available in my Etsy shop. And the most glaring issue we have is this wood. It wasn't weather treated, and as you can see, it's falling apart from, well, all the weather. And now we're back to a bare rack. Nice. These old pieces sat in that rack perfectly, so I'm going to use them as a template for the new weather treated wood. That way I get a perfect fit. Perfect. Now that we have the box set up, we can figure out where everything is going to go on the inside. For the most part, I know where everything's going. The O2 tanks on this side, storage tanks on this side, fan box here, radome here, sniffer box here, heat sink, and then the big new Texas Instruments cross section is right here. But I can't for the life of me remember what goes right here. It feels like just empty space. Now we have beams to secure down the sniffer box, we have the radome set up, we have this plank which I extended so that we can get the TI cross section on there to sit so that it is really secure on this rack. Now we just got to figure out where to place it so that I have enough room still for the fan box. Now because this replica cross section is actually movie accurate to the size, it doesn't fit on the rack as well as it should because the rack is actually supposed to be 74 inches. Unfortunately, this one's only 45, so there should be about 20 inches in front and behind of this box. So we're only going to have enough room for a small fan box up front and not a full-size box. Okay, so I got the TI cross section in, except I forgot that this strap needs to go in and around, so I cut a hole in underneath, and I did the same with this side for the O2 tanks. Look, the fan's done. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually going to go into a box. I'm going to take this shroud off, I'm going to cut it up, and then mount the cut up molded shroud onto the box. The blades on the fan are also going to come off as well because they obviously won't fit in there. I managed to cut this down, and now I have some mounting points to get this into the box. So now all I have to do is paint it and make it look like a box. Now would you look at that? Looks much better than the previous version. A little more accurate, but obviously not completely. Now that we finally have the version 2 finished, we can put it back on the car and check out how it looks. But before we do, remember if you're looking for the storage tanks, the O2 tanks, the heat sink, the sniffer box, the radome, or the TI cross section, you can find that in my shop and the links are down below.